They know their role. They know how to play together. They've gotten a lot of reps and minutes together. I mean, they're a real team, And obviously, they've got the best player going. Literally every time we watch him play, their guy dominates the game. Jokic tonight, as you mentioned, hits that fadeaway against Bam, and he already had the points, but then he went down to the other end, got a rebound, and they said, "And there's the triple-double," and they posted that he had his ninth. He had his ninth triple-double of this postseason. Kevin, I submit to you, in this postseason, of all the 16 teams that have played in this postseason, there have been 12 triple-doubles in the postseason. He has 9 of them.
Wow.
Curry had 1, Giannis had 1, and Bam Adebayo had 1.
Wow.
The other 9 are all Jokic. Of the 12 triple-doubles in this playoffs, he's got 9 of them. Wow. I mean, it's his imprint is just on every game in this massive way. And if he's not doing one of them, we've seen him score 50 plus in that Phoenix series in a game. And then tonight, it felt like he could have had 25 assists if he needed to.
Yep.
I guess he ended up with 14.
I
guess he ended up with 14. Yeah.
He's that type of guy, man. I just think with Joker, there's no answer for him right now, and we'll have a lot of time to discuss like if the Nuggets win this series. But already, I mean, throughout this postseason, my mind has just been going to, okay, he's the new guy that you're going to have to get through in the Western Conference, and he very well might be the new guy that you have to get through in the NBA Finals, because this Nuggets team, man, it's like everything we're talking about, Chris, like it revolves around Nikola Jokic. Like he's the center of it all.
Of course.
But Jamal Murray has his ways of destroying you. Aaron Gordon, it's not like he's a no-skill player. Aaron Gordon has been a bucket getter since high school. He can score, he can handle, he can create. Michael Porter Jr. can catch fire. Bruce Brown coming off the bench, he can hit some shots for you. He can handle a little bit. Never mind the scrappy defense up and down their roster. This Nuggets team has different ways of generating quality shot opportunities, and all of them are quality defensive players. So I think for this Nuggets team right now,
and
it's not just one guy. And that's what I think everybody watching the finals needs to keep in mind for where they are today with their chances against the Heat, but also where they'll be tomorrow and in the seasons to come. Like this team is built to continue to be better and get better in the years to come because of the way they all interact with each other, and not just because of Jokic.
It feels like a continuation of what we might have seen if you didn't have the devastating Murray injury. You do have to.
I think that, yeah.
You have to look back and wonder, because we saw them ruin the Kawhi and Paul George, really probably that entire Clippers era of Kawhi and Paul George. Like that was the best chance. That was when they were both healthy, it was in the bubble, no less. But, and the Nuggets, it was like, okay, and then they took they showed their worthiness as someone that you really need to pay attention to as a playoff contender. And you had Bubble Murray going, and then it was like maybe the next year, they might have been able to be competing for the title the next year and the year after that, right? Like they lost the season because of the Murray injury. And when we did see them in the playoffs, they were super impressive. And obviously they've added Gordon since then. But one of the things we've talked about throughout these playoffs is they know exactly who they are and they know exactly who they play. It's 8 guys. A lot of times it's 7 if Brown's not getting minutes. It's not, hey, I'm trying to search for this. I'm trying to search for that. Maybe I'll throw this guy in. Maybe we'll see if Cody Zeller can give us something. Maybe Haywood Highsmith can give us something. And look, and the Heater is about as fine-tuned a team as you can have at this point too. But they do no searching in Denver. It's their 7 guys that they play, and you know they're playing. And if Brown plays 8, and that's what they've got, and they all know exactly what they're doing. They know their role. They know how to play together. They've gotten a lot of reps and minutes together. I mean, they're a real team, And obviously, they've got the best player going. I mean, impressive.
I kind of wish more people knew this Nuggets team. I mean, like the way the finals were talked about, it's like they weren't on national TV the most. They're not even on TV locally because of the altitude thing that Adam Silver was asked about pregame. Like this Nuggets team, it's as you said, Chris, it's a real team. And
it's not highlights, though. That's the problem.
No.
They're a great basketball team.
But Jokic is a walking highlight.
I know.
The shots he hits, the passes he makes, he is a walking highlight on a night in, night out basis. It's just,
for sure.
It's not the traditional type of highlights, high flying, that type of thing. But he is a highlight reel every single night.
It's very Spurs-esque in the sense of, and I heard
they're so much more exciting than the Spurs to me personally.
I'm talking about how everybody knew that Tim Duncan was amazing. And Jokic is more exciting than Duncan. I'll give him that, okay? But
yes.
Like the centerpiece was this guy in Tim Duncan who was the big fundamental. He was an amazing basketball player that anybody that loved basketball could appreciate, yet you weren't going to see them at the end of the year when you're doing NBA top 10 plays. They're not going to be included. When you're doing top 10 dunks, they're not going to be included. When you're doing top 10 anything, they're probably not going to be included. But they are a team that functions around this all-time great, one of the 10 best players of all time. And I do think, Michael Malone was talking about that the other day, and I thought it was an interesting comp. He was like, I never coached Tim Duncan. I never was around him day to day. But everything I hear about him, it's very similar to how selfless he is and how much he, wants to make his teammates better, and his commitment, to the greater good and to winning and all this stuff. Like, all the things that you're supposed to value.
Yeah, that's true. That's all true, except for the fact that Jokic does create amazing highlights. He makes passes that nobody on earth can even envision or see that even think about doing on the court. And some of those passes lead to spectacular dunks by an Aaron Gordon or a Michael Porter or a Bruce Brown or whoever it might be. It can lead to magnificent 3-pointers by Jamal Murray or Porter. They do create highlights. It's just different. They just don't get that. They just don't get that attention nationally that I hope they do during these finals. And it's going to be interesting.
It's just big guys too.
I know you're right. It is partially that. It's big guys just aren't as good of a highlight for social and all that.
Well, the other thing is they're not the guys that the NBA promotes, and they're not the guys that have their own shoe, and it's not, like all that stuff.
Yep, that's fair. And Jokic doesn't do any interviews. He just doesn't. It's just true. He doesn't. He says no to everything.
Right. Which is very Tim Duncan-esque also. You didn't know a lot about Tim Duncan. He's a very private guy as well. Right? And so, he doesn't care about promoting his brand. He doesn't even have a brand. He's just an amazing basketball player.